Hello, I'm Addison Morris with the Women's Cannabis Chamber of Commerce, and this is Cannabis ClipNotes with Deborah Brochart, the co-founder, CEO, and editor-in-chief at the Green Market Report, which launched in September 2017. The Green Market Report focuses on up-to-date cannabis industry financial, business, and economic news. The Green Market Report provides open source insights and data analysis. This is an important resource for businesses in the cannabis space. It is a source of relevant information for entrepreneurs, marketing, and business strategies. Deborah is a sought after conference speaker, keynote speaker, and panel moderator. She brings a wealth of knowledge to the stage and to the conversation. Thank you for being here, Deborah. And could you please define the hemp conflict?
Great. Thank you so much, Addison, for having me on. I really appreciate it. This has been a real hot button issue, and it's really started to take on a life of its own with the conflict within the cannabis industry. So I'm going to kind of set the stage real quick and explain how we got here. So, and most people know in the 2018 Farm Bill, it legalized hemp, and it said hemp is legal except in the case it has 0.3% THC. Then that kind of bumps it into regulated cannabis. And the legislation specifically called out Delta 9 because back in 2018, that's what they thought that was the differentiation between hemp that you would use, say, for fibers or to add to foods for protein. That the industrial uses of hemp really didn't have hardly any THC in them. And so that's how we got to that moment. And that's when you saw this big explosion of CBD products hit the market. And unfortunately, what we saw from that big explosion of CBD products hit the market, and I'm sure you remember those days when it was CBD infused t-shirts and CBD infused socks, and then you had supplements, and it just was in everything and in everywhere. But what we found was consumers that purchased these items that were sold this, miracle drug type of response on taking in CBD often found that those products that they could buy at the convenience store or at just any retail outlet, that CBD really didn't do anything for them. And so the response was people kind of quit buying it. And so we saw that product really tank. And we saw the prices of hemp really tank because everyone was geared up for this big CBD boom. So fast forward, as technology caught up to hemp, we started to see where unregulated hemp products could start to develop products that had a THC level that was akin to a regulated cannabis product. So now you started to see two separate sides of the cannabis market. You had regulated THC type of products where you couldn't take any tax exemptions, where you have restrictions on packaging, you have restrictions on age, you have just so many rules and regulations around those products. And then you had this hemp product that was being billed as Delta 8 or Delta 10. And those products had no regulation. There was no testing. No one knows what half of these products have in them. And they're sold now at convenience stores and just about everywhere. And you're also seeing that these hemp stores have exploded in states where regular regulated cannabis is often illegal, not legalized. And these products, like I said, are often sold to minors. They are not tested. Who knows what's in them. And so what we started to see was that the regulated cannabis guys who have struggled to make money with very expensive operations started going, hey, you know what? We're processing all this stuff. We've got all this distribution set up. We've got all this packaging set up. Why not? Let's do a hemp product and see how it does. We can sell it online. cheap. We can put it in convenience stores. So then we started to see this shift of some cannabis companies straddling both of these worlds. Wana gummies is a good example. You've got regular THC Wana gummies, and then you have hemp Wana gummies that you can buy anywhere. We're starting, and that's just one example. There are several cannabis companies that have said, you know what, I need to make some money to fund this operation, and so I'm going to have these products over here. So that's where we're kind of seeing the market going right now. We've seen this shift in consumer patterns from CBD products over to what is called intoxicating hemp products. Whether that's an accurate title or not, that's the title that has been used and kind of accepted. We're seeing a real big volume now, interestingly, in these hemp beverages. I was just at Benzinga in Chicago just a couple of weeks ago, and there were like 4 hemp beverage companies on a fairly moderate trade show floor. So you've got hemp beverages showing their wares to a place full of regulated hemp CEOs and businesses. And they were clearly interested in trying out these products. Now, what was interesting is they had coolers of these beverages just out and anybody could take them. Whereas I'm sure all these regulated cannabis people that are walking through the halls that have beverages in their portfolio can't do that. They can't sell their products. They can't just hand them out. So we are seeing a real shift. Now, what's also happening while we're seeing this shift in consumer demand on products is we're seeing a real battle start up on the legislative side. So as I mentioned at the top, the 2018 Farm Bill, that was supposed to be updated in 2023. Didn't happen. So it got to 2024. Well, here we are. It's October, almost end of October. And the Farm Bill was not included in the most recent budget. So some of the elements of the 2024 Farm Bill actually expired in September, and the rest will expire at the end of December. So what's going to happen? Well, we've got this clearly contentious presidential election. Not a lot is happening at the federal level because of that. Everybody's kind of waiting and seeing what's going to happen there. I would expect we'll get what's called a continuing resolution, or a CR, which basically kicks the can down the road and says, you know what, we'll deal with this in 2025 and try to figure out what we want to do with the Farm Bill. What's happening with the Farm Bill right now, this 2024 Farm Bill? We have seen competing pieces of language trying to address hemp within the Farm Bill. We have seen language where it's just said, you know what, we're going to keep it the way it was. And that hemp and that 0.3%, not going to change. All you people doing all this intoxicating hemp that's not tested or regulated, keep on keeping on. And there are a lot of proponents that feel that should remain that way because they're like, you know what? Not our fault if you screwed up that language in the beginning, or not our fault if you didn't have the ability to look in your crystal ball and see where we could go with hemp. So we've invested millions into these businesses. We should be able to keep them going. However, we have another group that has said, you know what? We're not comfortable with selling these products to people under 21. We're not comfortable with them not being tested. We're not comfortable with them not being regulated to some point. And we want to put some guardrails around that. So that's kind of where we're at. We got a little bit of competing language going on here with the new, with whatever the new Farm Bill will look like. That's happening. That's at the federal level. Now, we're also seeing battles happen at the state and municipal level. So even just this week, Green Market Report wrote several stories about municipalities wanting to curb some of these smoke shops with the intoxicating hemp products. And what's happening is when they get in trouble, they lawyer up and they usually go to court and say, hey, but according to that 2018 Farm Bill, we're not doing anything wrong. We're following the law. And so that's where we're at right now. What's at stake? Billions of dollars. So it's kind of hard to wrap your hands around any hard data on where we're at with these intoxicating hemp products. There are a handful of distributors. At that convenience store level, we have seen data that shows how products like Kratom, which isn't cannabis, but it kind of falls in that category, Delta 8, Delta 10, there is another cannabinoid called HHC that is becoming very popular in the convenience stores. So we're seeing those products rise in orders from these outlets, while we're seeing those CBD products like the CBD hand lotion kind of stuff just plummeting. They don't want that stuff anymore. That we're not able to get any real hard numbers from that category to find out how much is being sold in these stores. All we can do is get some hard data on the growth in those categories. What I will say is clearly there's a lot of interest in this product from the regulated cannabis side because there's so much money there. There's billions of dollars being made by people that don't have any rules really to follow. And they're thinking, you know what, we could use some of that money. And some of them are taking the risk that they're willing to go in and put these products out there, make some money, and then wait and see, are they going to get shut down? Are the rules going to change around these hemp products? They're going to make some money in the meantime. Why not? And who knows where it's going to go? So I kind of don't fault them, but we're really seeing a huge conflict, like I said, within the industry itself on how to approach this product. A lot of people feel that it's a plant. It shouldn't, you should leave hemp alone. A lot of people, though, feel like, hey, we're following all these rules. We're paying for all these, restrictions that we have to abide by. We can't claim any tax benefits off of 280E. That's not fair. So that's kind of where we're at right now. Like I said, we are seeing a lot of activity at the municipal level where towns are trying to stop this product, but they are just immediately going to court over it.
Well, this just opens up so many questions that we don't have time to address, but also very insightful because you really did define what the conflict is. And I'm sure that this conversation will change in 6 months as a lot of things changes on the political front. Um, just I'm going to restrain from asking any of the questions and hope that you will agree to do another Cannabis Clip Note. And for those who are viewing this, Cannabis Clip Notes with Deborah can be found on the Women's Cannabis Chamber's LinkedIn page and website. Thank you, Deborah.
Thank you, Addison.